Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Atusa. I'm a woman chess grandmaster, and today I want to analyze one of the most interesting games of recent time. Just a few days ago this game happened in a tournament in St. Louis, where a lot of good chess players are playing in a close tournament. This game was in rapid portion between the current world champion Gukesh against the world champion challenger Fabiano Caruana. And this game was really interesting because you can see that even these players with high ratings and 2800, they can easily make mistakes, and you can see that the evaluation bar can jump up and down, and it was also very interesting to watch because the players can get into time trouble and anything can happen. So let's jump into it. So as you can see, Gukesh is playing as white. He started with e4. He usually plays actually Italian game. I have seen a lot of Italian games from him recently. So Fabi is also playing e5 line, which is I think one of his main repertoire nowadays. So c3, knight f6, all of these moves are theory. As you know, these players are well prepared and they know the opening theory, sometimes up to 40 moves. So it's no wonder that they are 2800. So white plays h3. If you look at these moves, I'm going to explain a little bit. So these moves are useful, and not only it clears the square for the king for the endgame to avoid the back rank mate, but also it's against these moves like knight g4 to attack the pawn on f2, or bishop g4 to pin the knight. So h3 is a very nice prophylactic move. Black plays a5 to avoid b4, but also to clear this square for the bishop. White plays knight d2, a4, bishop b5, and bishop d7, knight f1, knight e7. As you can see, Fabi actually gained some time on the clock, so it shows that Fabi is in his home preparation, and now he has 26 minutes. So knight g3, f5. Okay, f5 is a very nice and I would say ambitious move because you want to open up the file and somehow put pressure on f2 indirectly. Here Gukesh made a mistake and played queen d3. As you can see, the jump moved down. So a better move here for white was to capture the pawn on f5, either with the pawn or with the knight. But queen d3 was a mistake, and here Fabi played f4. Here in this position, there was a move that actually was very interesting, and since I have studied such moves before, I want to show it to you guys as well. And that is the move d5. So black can play d5 in this position. Why? Because if white takes, black wants to play e4 and get a fork here. I thought that this move is really cute because white can take either side, but black can play e4 and attack these two pieces. And if white doesn't take on d5, let's say if he takes on e5, we can take here, and we have a good position. The queen is under attack. Let's say the queen moves, we can take here, and then this is also a very nice fork. So going back to the game, Gukesh played queen d3, Fabi played f4, knight f1, king h8. As you can see, black is slightly better in this position, but wait for it. Let's see what happens next, because this game is kind of crazy. So knight h2, knight g6, like normal moves. You want to get more space. Bishop d2, c5, take, queen c2, queen c7, rook d1, bringing the last piece into the game. This is a move that I always tell my students, that you need to bring your last piece into the game, because you know, a lot of amateurs just forget about their rook on a1 or a8, the last rook. So you want to make sure that you're attacking with all of your pieces. This is a very important tip for you guys. Okay, so black played rook d8, white played rook e2, queen 7, c4. c4 is a very good move because black wants to play d5 at some point and open up the position. So white needs to control this square. But also, as you know, if you have a dark square bishop, you usually want to put your pawns on light squares. So that's why white wants to play c4. So white played c4, black played knight e7, white played knight e1, and knight c6. Okay, this knight is moving towards d4 to get this fork. So white moves the other knight to f3, king h7, knight d3. So as you can see here, Fabi doesn't have that much time on the clock. He has just 6 minutes versus 12 minutes. Gukesh played knight b4, which is not the right move. It was better to play bishop c3, but I would say it's a difficult position to play as white, because white doesn't have a lot of counterattacks, and probably he wanted to move towards this square d5. So rook g8, bishop c3, g4, and here black is opening up the g file, which is very dangerous for white, and kind of scary, because I mean, white pieces cannot protect g2 very well. So Gukesh took the pawn on d6, and as you can see, the computer says it's -6, so it's in Fabi's favor, but he's got just 3 minutes on the clock. I know that computers are, you know, very strong. They are best calculators, but still, you need to prove that your position, you know, is better in chess. So rook a g8, which was not a right move here. The best move here for black was to play queen h5. And the point here is that we have some ideas to take the pawn on g2 and play rook g8 check and win the knight. So for example, let's say if he goes here, we can go here, here, check. And let's say the king goes here, we can even go for a checkmate, and the game is over. So queen h5 was a very nice move, which was missed by Fabi. Black played rook g8 here, knight d5. He took the pawn. The king is in check. King has to move to f1. If the king goes here, there would be a checkmate on h5. So after king f1, black played bishop d8, which was not a good move, and he basically gave away a lot of his advantage. A better move here for black was to play rook g6, trying to exchange one of white's best pieces. But Fabi played bishop d8, rook takes d8, knight takes d8. Notice that we can't take with the rook, because then he can take our rook. So knight takes, bishop takes e5, and suddenly white king is black king is also a little bit more vulnerable here. So here Fabi played knight d7, which was the best and the only move to maintain the advantage for black. White played king e1, knight e6, another good move from Fabi. Queen takes a4, and knight g5. Okay, a better move here probably was knight e5, and then followed by queen g7, but both players having, you know, a few seconds on the clock. Fabi has 49 seconds, Gukesh has 46 seconds, and this is really tough. So here Gukesh took the knight on g5, rook takes g5, bishop d4, knight e5, queen b3, knight c6, and now suddenly Gukesh position is slightly better. It's about equal. So let's see what happens next. So bishop f6, then rook g6, queen c3. Okay, this was a mistake. A better move here for white was to play e5. And the point is you need to protect your bishop with a pawn and not with the queen. Because after queen c3, black has this move f3, and after queen takes f3, knight d4, forking the queen and the rook. Notice that this bishop is pinned, so the bishop can't take because of the queen. Queen is unprotected, but since the players, don't have enough time, Fabi missed this move and he played h5, but now e5 is winning, and now Gukesh has a great position. He's got 20 seconds on the clock. Fabi has just 2 seconds, but of course they're playing with increments, so once they make a move, a few seconds will add to their clock. But now knight takes f4. The knight is attacking 3 pieces at the same time. Rook g1, king here, queen d7 check, queen d3. A better move probably was to move the knight back, but queen d3 looks like a human move. And if you don't have that much time on the clock, you usually want to play such moves. So queen takes d3 here, g4, king e4. White is trying to centralize the king, but a better move actually was rook e4 to centralize the rook. And after king e4, black plays h4. So white plays f3 here to attack the rook, and knight d4. Knight d4 is an interesting move. And the idea is if the king takes, he wants to take this way. But let's say if the rook moves, then, white has a lot of good moves like rook h2. And white is in a better shape because white is up in material. But also, he's got 2 pawns and better pieces. Anyway, so black played knight d4, rook h2, rook e1 check, king takes, takes, king d5, and as you can see, white's position is winning now. A better move here is to play king e6, going towards the king side and trying to push these 2 pawns, but king c5 was not the best move. King f5 was also a mistake. A better move was rook d4, attacking this pawn and the bishop at the same time. So that was a fork, but again, the players are in time trouble. So king f5, bishop f6, rook takes, rook h7, attacking the rook, rook a1, rook takes, b4, and white basically wanted to simplify the position so he can push his pawns, and he doesn't need to worry about complicated lines here. So rook c2, rook c7 here, king b5, rook b3, king a4, rook b1, king here. But in such positions there is no rush, so you can just move your pieces to a better squares and improve your position slowly. So since you don't have enough time, you want to just make sure that you are not blundering anything and you're improving your position. So that's why, for example, you play king a4 and then king a5. Check here, king b5, bishop e7 to protect. He took here, but even after losing that pawn, white is still winning. So white is cutting off the king, so the king cannot stop the pawns. And then slowly white is pushing his pawn. So rook c2 here. As you can see, white is pushing the pawns. Okay, if the rook takes, we can take the pawn, and this rook cannot stop the passed pawn. So black should not take. Rook c8, bishop c5, check, and of course he repeated 2 times, but not 3 times, and then he moved the king in, and then he pushed the other pawn, and after king c6, Fabi resigned in this position. So this was one of the, I think, crucial games in this tournament. It was in rapid portion, and even though Fabiano Caruana was winning at the beginning, he couldn't convert his advantage, and Gukesh played a great defense, and not only he defended his position, but also he came even better, and he could convert his advantage. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And if you have any suggestions for my next video, please do let me know in comment section. I'll read it all, and I'll try my best to make your video. So take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.